want to see what it looks like on your we can...
Welcome to the Doggie Dojo show. My name's Trevor Smith, and today we have an awesome guest, Zak George.
What's happening?
And today we're going to be answering your questions here on the show. So go ahead and feel free to leave some comments down below. And we have we have also another guest. He thought he was the special guest. He's kind of special, but but this is Clyde. If you guys that have been watching Doggie Dojo, you know Clyde, and then Daisy's back over here as well. But feel free to go ahead and start commenting and asking questions down below, and we will be watching for them on here. So can you refer to that real quick?
No,
Look at that. Let's see if we can. There
oh,
it is.
Hey, look, it's us.
That is us. So if we want to, what we can do, and you guys can watch too, as well. Actually,
I assume we need to mute it.
We can do that, and then let's see if we can pull those comments.
Is there a delay? Yeah,
there's a little bit of delay. So this is Zak's first Facebook live stream. Try to find the comments here for a second. Clyde, we don't need you here. So
we're pretty good looking, Trevor.
We are pretty good looking. There we go. So let me see how we can. I just messed that all up there. Oh, there it goes. Hey guys, cool. So maybe we can actually do. There is some comments popping in.
Excellent. So we're going to answer questions.
Yes, we're going to answer questions and help you guys out. But just so that we can introduce ourselves real quick. But I'm Trevor Smith. You guys know me from the show a little bit. I've been training dogs since I was 6 years old, and I now love helping people.
Look, what's up?
These are smearing the bird all over your laptop.
That's all right. I got the warranty on it.
You got the warranty on it. I love helping people grow closer to their canine companion and helping you guys get through your struggles and help you get through any frustrations that you may have and help you grow closer to your canine companion. But some of you guys, I know you guys know Zak George over here, but Zak, go ahead and introduce yourself to the show and what you've done and who
Sure.
you are. Cool.
Yeah. My name is Zak George. I'm the host and producer of Zak George's Dog Training Revolution on YouTube. It's, I keep looking, yeah. All right, yeah, I've been training dogs now about 12, 13 years, something like that. And, that's the bottom line. I've done a couple of TV shows over the years, and really my passion is just showing people how to work with and connect with their dogs and understand them better and in a modern, humane way that's scientifically sound and ethically sound, I guess.
Yeah.
That's my mission.
So, and then, so what we're going to do today is just answer y'all's questions, and you guys have them, but we actually have a whole team. So hey, Kevin, good to see you on here. Looks like we've got Aaron on here as well, and Avery, thanks for joining us today, and Rachel, of course, she's right behind us. Thanks for joining us as well. But
we got Bree over here too.
Yeah, Bree. So if you guys, Bree's right over there, but you guys can't see her on camera, but she can pop in. Hey! So what we're going to do now is we had some questions submitted on the Zak George Facebook page. So I think we could probably tackle that, and then for you guys. But there's opening docs right here.
Oh, do we want?
And then also what we're going to be doing too, which we're pretty excited about. I know I'm excited about is this weekend. The reason I'm here, other than we're doing this live stream, which is kind of nice, impromptu. But we're going to be filming a couple videos together, pretty exciting videos, and. Daisy's going to be doing some agility, and then Clyde, I won't reveal what he's done.
Okay, top secret.
Top secret, unless you want to, but you're welcome.
Oh, no, I'm happy to kind of keep it secret. I think it'll be good, but it's a really, I have high hopes for the video.
High hopes for the video, yeah. So Clyde's got a special trick under his tool belt that we're going to try to film and show you guys how to do. So it's really exciting. You guys will really enjoy it. But, and so what we got here from Sarah. Sarah asked, what is your favorite dog to have worked with and why?
Specifically, my favorite dog ever, like individual dog.
Mm-hmm. Like an individual dog. I'm wondering if she also means like breed as well. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll answer both of them. How about that?
Yeah.
So my favorite dog that I've ever worked with, I'm a bit biased, would be my own dog, Venus.
Yeah.
Who's now passed on, but I've taught her so many wonderful things, and she really is the reason that I'm a dog trainer. But as far as like what my favorite breed to work with is, I actually posted a video yesterday because that's kind of a sensitive subject for me. One issue that I think one problem I think with the way we think about dogs is we put too much emphasis on breed and not enough on the individual dog. And so I don't have a breed that I prefer. I really try to look at the individual level. What's more important, I think, is the energy level of a dog. I generally will rank dogs 1 through 3 on their energy level. That's often the best indicator for me as to the teachability of a dog or what they're going to enjoy doing. For example, a real high energy dog is much more likely to embrace the dog sport of duck diving as opposed to a more chill dog who may not want to do that as much.
And like, that doesn't mean that the chill dog is necessarily like a bad dog. It just
Not at
means
all.
that, for you, depending on your lifestyle, like if you, like to kick back a lot, watch TV, you want a little couch potato dog, then a chill dog would be perfect.
Or a chill dog could excel with something like dog obedience and sit, stay, and leash walking and stuff like that.
And go on nice walks with you around the neighborhood and stuff, and just not have that. And I think that's really important to understand. Like, I know in your book you explained it really well, and I thought it was really good. That we have to sometimes get rid of the breed standardization, like, and thinking that just because you have this breed, that the dog is going to be this way. Yes, there's certain truth to that. That border collies will have typically a little bit more hyperactivity, but as Daisy's right over here, she's pretty chill. So to a point where, and I have another border collie, as you guys know, named Yoshi, and he's crazy. So it all depends on the individual, like Zak's saying. I think that's really an important key. That you have to take a time and observe your dog and figure out what your dog likes and doesn't like, and if they want to go on walks or if they want to go do agility, but having some fulfillment is important. Kind of like, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Yeah, so, you got your basic needs, your psychological needs, and you got your self-fulfillment needs. And so same thing with dogs as well. I think that that having some fulfillment in life is all different for every dog. But
yes, I agree with you. I do. Well said.
There. Let me see if we have any questions over here live here. Thanks, Taz, for joining us. Jasmine, you're here. Thanks for joining us as well. Sarah, Kesha, thank you for joining us today. And
do you know all these people?
I know Taz. I know
Okay.
Jasmine. Jasmine's actually is with me in Austin. I train with her in Austin.
Oh.
So she's joining here, and Kesha, she's actually a YouTuber. She has creative pet keeping.
Oh, right on.
And then Taz, he's actually from New Zealand, so it's good to see him here and stuff like that. So
You're doing a good job. Yeah, you're really getting to know people.
And so it's great. And then Therese is from the Petscope TV. It's who else does lots of live stream. I do a channel on Petscope TV with them. So it's good to see all these people here. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm so excited to have everybody on here as well. So feel free, guys, as you're going to comment. And Clyde, what are you looking for?
He wants the pig.
Clyde, you can't have the pig.
It's too loud,
It's
Clyde.
too big. So if you guys want to, feel free to comment down below. We're going to be answering some questions as we go here. But if you guys have questions, we'll go ahead and answer them real quickly. But we'll go on to the next question over here. Did I mess something up? I think I did a little bit. We'll go back to it. But next one from we'll scroll down here to Diana and give her some love here. Is I use dog kibble for training treats, but they are not high enough currency. How do I make sure that dog stays fit and not overfeed them while training? So making sure that when you're giving treats while training, if that's going to make them fat or worrying about that. So.
Right, yeah, I think that's a great question. That's a real common concern that a lot of people have is, like I want to make sure that my dog's getting good enough treats, but I don't want them to get too fat and all that. That's why I like to use real meat a lot.
Yeah.
Like small bits of boiled chicken or turkey or something like that. It's not typically very fattening, and I also keep them really small, anywhere between the size of a pea and a grain of rice, depending. So the idea when training your dog is to give them something that tastes really good, but not necessarily a whole bunch of it, So something that really tastes good is more likely to give you better results. So don't use dog kibble for treats. Maybe use some dog treats that are soft, easy to break, and highly palatable, and just keep them real small. You ought to be able to treat your dog 1,000 times, and they should still be slim.
And then I think Clyde might be giving us a hint over here. What
Yes.
else you can use as rewards?
Exactly.
So and even though this is food looking, it's a little burger, but it's, don't worry, it's meant to do that. Right. I think it's important. Yes, use food while training. I think like Zach, you said it perfect. Like you want to use something that's valuable, but something that's lean meat is really good to do. But also don't always depend on just food alone while training and rewarding your dog. And making sure that you use other types of rewards. It can be touch, it can be toys, it can be verbal praise or life events. But building up all those resources and building up all those tools in your tool belt for rewards is very important.
Yeah.
To keep your dog in shape. And I think I like treats. I do. I think it's for quick reinforcement. It's really nice and it fulfills a need for your dog. But actually, I think toys and playing with your dog actually builds a great bond with your dog.
Oh, yes. If you have a dog that's willing to work for tug of war, I mean, not all dogs are into tug of war, for example.
Yeah.
Some dogs are just like, just give me the treats, so that ain't my thing.
Yeah.
But if you do have a dog that plays tug of war and they're willing to work for play, I agree with you 100%. That probably should be your default currency in most situations. But yeah, Good question. Real good
Great question. We got some live comments here and live questions. I see Trisha. Thanks for joining us today as well. We said that you had a show called In the Doghouse, and
no, that's not my show.
Oh, okay.
I had a show called Who Let the Dogs Out.
Oh yeah, Who Let the Dogs Out?
That's right.
And that's what I was wondering. I know you did a Who Lets the Dog Out, but I didn't know you did this show. But I guess
Yeah, Who Let the Dogs Out was a show in the UK that I did for a couple of seasons, and yeah, it's basic. The way I like to describe it, it's basically American Idol for young British dog trainers under the age of 14.
Yes.
So we were in search of Britain's best young dog trainer, and it was so much fun. I actually produced the show as well, which I'm real proud of. That gave me so much knowledge to now for the next generation of my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
But such a blast. What was in the question, though?
Are you going to think about doing a second season, or are you thinking about redoing it for your YouTube channel, something like that?
I've had a revelation when it comes to doing TV shows versus YouTube stuff, and I'm all in on YouTube right now. In fact, I've turned down 2 TV shows since I've done Who Let the Dogs Out, because I see so much potential in what you can do with YouTube. We get, number one, international distribution, whereas my UK show was only on the BBC within Britain. My Animal Planet show, Superfetch, that I had from 2009, 2010, something like that, only here in the United States and a few other countries. But the point is, you have so much more potential if you can get that video distributed internationally. So I'm not particularly interested in TV. I wouldn't rule it out, but I'm not particularly interested in doing another TV show now.
And I think definitely it's the next medium anyway. I think it's growing and stuff. And like you said, I think it's just really good to. I think you get more interaction with people too. Like on YouTube, when you make a YouTube video, people comment down below. You can answer the question. You can't do that through TV. So.
Oh yeah. It's for me. It may not be for everyone. I mean, there are other trainers out there who might prefer to do TV because they might see something that I don't in it. But yeah, I'm all in on YouTube, and that's where I want to be and continue. But we're going to cross 1 million subscribers this year.
I know.
Hopefully.
It's exciting. You're at 600,000 now.
680.
80,000. Really? So you're almost to 700,000.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Our 30-day average right now, and again, it's not. I hope this
now we're going to geek out. Sorry about that, about numbers.
But it is at an all-time high. We're averaging 1,300 new subscribers every single day on YouTube. 1,307.
Yeah, it just tells a lot about your message and using things like that. So it's definitely great stuff. It is all about the dogs. Okay, cool. So, and now the comments are just rolling in here. So
are they?
We'll keep.
How do we know how many people are watching, or do we know?
Well, at this point, it's saying it's 35 people watching.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if you're seeing
nice
it on your end, but 39 there. So it's going back for us. So so thanks guys for joining here. We're going to answer your questions as much as we can. We'll go through as many as we can. When you started the dog training business, did you ever get worried that you'd be able to answer a question? I guess it's funny. So Amelia, I think we're up for any question usually. It's all questions are on the table here.
Of course.
Let me go over here to the questions that you guys have curated so far, and you guys can update us through there. And that is, so what we'll do is the next question for Belinda here is, I recently acquired a 2-year-old German Shepherd. She hadn't been taught anything, which I know is achievable over time. Her prey drive is really strong. Do you think that the prey drive will fade over time?
See, that's a good question. Now, I mean, prey drive is one of those terms that people really tend to overuse, but I'm going to assume that she likes to chase cats and squirrels and anything that moves.
Yeah.
So the way that I typically like to deal with a dog who has that issue is to really redirect their activities into games like fetch and things to give them that satisfaction. Hey, you can chase things all you want. It just has to be the right things, like a ball, like a frisbee, and stuff like that. And usually dogs like that, if they're exercised, say 5 days a week, and first thing in the morning, that prey drive, that unwanted prey drive, tends to really subside, and you get a pretty manageable dog, in my experience anyway. What do you think?
I think prey drive is it's definitely manageable. I think when you have a dog with prey drive, I think toys is a really good answer to rewards. I've seen this all the time. People, when they're training their dogs out in public and the dog wants to go play with the other dog across the way, or wants to go chase that squirrel, and they're taking some food and they're trying to get the dog's attention using food, and the dog's just not having it. And then I say, get a toy, and I give them a toy, and the dog's just on the person. It's like the dog wants to play.
Right.
It's not wanting to eat right now. It wants to play.
Right.
And so that's what's also about variety. I think. And then thanks, Kesha, for saying that. Yes, not food. Also, variety is good too. And then we have here. So that's happy to say.
I'm enjoying the live format here.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. This is cool. Lots of great questions. I love the group too.
Modern dog training and behavior advice.
That's been such an influential group that's been there for so many people to get really good quality advice over the years. And I think it's so awesome that there are groups like this out there really promoting sound, modern information. They're really good at that on this group.
And this is a great group. Yeah, you guys are very supportive on here. I don't see like nasty comments and stuff like that as well, which is nice. And so everyone's kind of working together to solve the issue, which is to help each other with each other's dogs. Autumn says she loves your YouTube channel, by the way.
Thank you, Autumn.
So does Diana. She said, so happy to find your YouTube channel. And then I like to give these people shout outs. So then Justin says, glad to find us both. And then let's see what other people are saying on here. I like to let you guys to know that we saw these things. I think you guys do too. Counter surfing problems with a 6-month old.
Yes, counter surfing. You know, I've got 2 wonderful videos on counter surfing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those. In order to get really good at correcting counter surfing, for those of you that don't know, that's where your dog jumps on the counter and steals things they're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. You got to get really good at the leave it, look at me combo. You know, and that's the exercise I like to teach people a lot. We did it with Jacob, actually, a dog that I've done a few videos with.
And you mentioned it a couple times in your book, so it's really good. And so, I think it's genius. And if you're not familiar with the leave it, look at that combo, it's using the leave it game. It's kind of obvious with the title of the trick.
Leave it and look at me.
Yeah, leave the thing and look at you. And because I think a lot of people do that little trick where they put the treat on the nose and they say leave it, and the dog gets the treat. But I think the look at me is just like the next level. It's like it gives a purpose behind the leave it a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Because like if you take an obedience class, typically it's trained as kind of a little trick, but the bigger picture of leave it is it's a very beginner thing that you want to continue to evolve and make a little bit more challenging over times. And being able to get your dog's eyes on you when they're distracted is huge, and that's one of the more easy distractions, a treat. You know, you got to get that before you can get them to listen to you around a squirrel.
And I think I like to use food for that reason too. So talking about prey drive is I like to use food as like my foundation. Like if I can get my dog to leave a piece of kibble or dry biscuit or something basic, there's no way I'm going to get him to leave alone a squirrel or anything else. So it's kind of a good stationary to like say, try to work on that first, build a foundation of behavior, build a success rate and a reward base, so that way the dogs, when they go want to go chase the squirrel, you have something to work with. If you can't get your dog to leave alone food, it's going to be really hard to get them to leave alone anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And the surprise stay, which is another great exercise, you know, where you tell your dog to stay and do a squeaky toy and throw it and give it motion and work up to that. Yeah. Like just being able to routinely test your dog is real key.
It's really key. There we go. And let me see here. Golly, we're getting the questions are coming crazy in. So we're gonna try to answer everybody's questions here, but we don't. You know, we could probably be here all night if we to answer everybody's. We'll let we actually have Bree and Rachel too. They're actually reading through your comments, and they're gonna be popping it over onto this little Google Doc that we have. So I'm gonna swing back over there and just see what else we have here. Yep. Rachel's typing in something right now as we speak. Oh, you kind of updated it a little bit. Someone did. Yeah. Good, awesome.
I take them away.
So you take them away. That's awesome. So we know which ones we've done.
Rachel start. Rachel's my associate producer, and
the
dog training revolution would be the same without her.
And by the way, I just rolled in here like at 4 o'clock, so about an hour ago, and I already can tell you have a sharp team here. Ready to go.
I appreciate that.
And so. What do you think that are important requirements for a great dog-human relationship? Good communication, plenty of exercise, dog-owner compatibility. Those are all question marks. So
I think all those are important. I mean, what was the first bit of the question?
What do you think is important requirements for a dog-human relationship?
I mean, you hit it on the head when you said relationship. Prioritize a relationship with your dog first. The rest becomes pretty easy, honestly. Yeah. People are really often focused on step-by-step methods, which we got to know the steps. But if you focus on the relationship and just connecting with your dog by playing with them and having a lot of fun with them and giving them lots of experiences. Yeah. You know, that's really all there is to it.
And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about a second ago with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know, that kind of comes into the psychological needs, like just that relationship and that bond. Mm-hmm. You know, dogs are social creatures, and you said that in your book as well. That you know the whole, and we're actually gonna do a video on that in a bit. Like we'll do that this weekend. We're actually working on a video where we're going to talk about the whole pack theory and how the guy who originally thought of the pack theory,
David Meach.
Yeah, David Meach. He actually totally debunked that and said that that's not actually true. The dogs are actually very social animals. So when we look at that and just, well, that's a whole nother topic we could probably go pages about a little bit. But
sure.
we look at that, we know that dogs enjoy a relationship. And dogs are domesticated wolves. And so even though they do come from wolves, they're domesticated to bond with humans. And so even though dogs do like other dogs, they really do bond with the human. And so it's important to have that human-dog relationship. And I think like one of the big mistakes a lot of media has put out there that when it comes to the whole human relationship is that, that you see on TV when you want to go socialize your dog, they take them to the dog park. If one dog has, that's the dog's biggest dream is to go to the dog park. When that's not true, and I hope you can agree with me on this, but I'm pretty sure you do already, is that your dog's biggest dream should be you and having that relationship with you. So.
Well, yeah, like it's important to exercise like high energy dogs.
Yes.
And the last thing you want to do is rely on exercising them with other dogs at the dog park, which is what I think you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You want that primary activity to be with you as the person, because as you said, dogs, we specifically created dogs to interact with and connect with human beings. I mean, that's why we made them, to perform tasks on our behalf and to work and cooperate with us. And that's very different than wolves in the wild. And so that's what one of the flawed things is with trying to adopt the mindset of let me cater to the ancestral wolf qualities of the domestic dog. It makes no sense. It just doesn't. Yeah. And that's one of the things that you and I are both trying to change, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
In the way that
the dog training industry, we've dog training has been around for a long time, and just like we've changed a lot in society when it comes to methods and way we do things. Through science, we've learned and understood that there is better ways to build a relationship with your dog through, like you talk about. That's your main thing, is that it's the inside out, not the outside in.
Yes, and what we mean by that is motivating your dog to want to do something rather than forcing them to do something with a special collar or something like that. Motivate your dog to want to do something from the inside out rather than relying on some gimmick from the outside to try and teach your dog. A common example is bitter apple spray too. People like to think that if they'll spray something that'll make the thing bad and it'll taste bad and discourage the dog from chewing.
Yeah.
And, in reality, you should just teach your dog not to chew things rather than trying to fix it from the outside in. I don't know. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Like, think about, everyone's probably had this situation before, whether you go into work or at home or something or school, and you get something wrong, you're not doing something right. It's always better to know how to do it right, and from the inside out versus outside. Like, sometimes people, if they just keep pounding away, like, bad, and looking for the opportunity of you being bad versus looking for the opportunity of you being good. Like, I like being rewarded for doing something good. I'm more motivated by rewards, and I think a little bit better that way too. But and I'm I'm a little biased, of course, but that's because I love the relationship that I do have with my dogs, and that's why I am biased. That that they want to do things for me versus being forced to do something. And that's just and I know that everyone has different opinions on that, but that's just something.
Well, you mentioned you're being biased towards it, and we should avoid being biased when we're trying to use the scientific part of our brains. We have to really look at what is, not what we believe, not what we feel. But that said, there are some biases that are right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so all biases aren't bad in that way if you've done research, as long as you're always willing to change your mind in light of better evidence, which I always am. So
yeah, and so and that's what we just ask everybody that's watching right now, is that whatever you think out there, whatever about dog training and how you should train a dog, and when it comes to anything in life, take the time to look and figure out what's modern. Hence this group, the modern dog training group. What is the modern science and what is going on out there right now, and look at that and see. Don't look at that your relationship with your dog as results based, as more, but all the time, but also more so a relationship based. Is kind of wrap that question
right.
Put it full circle.
Yeah, very important.
Now they're just coming in, aren't they? Thanks, Bree and Rachel. What is something that many people get wrong? Oh, this is the question you've been looking forward to.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. What is something that many people get wrong about positive reinforcement training that you wish would change?
So, okay, what is the thing that many people get wrong about positive reinforcement training? I think it means like never correcting your dog. Like a lot of people think that you just ignore bad behavior with positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
And, that's not true. I mean, there are consequences when a dog doesn't do something you don't like. They just don't involve pain, and they don't involve, physical punishment as much. So that's one of the things.
I think you mentioned in your book, great. Like if your dog's running straight towards the road,
right? You gotta
stop them. You're gonna, and then like you said in book 2, when you hold the leash and they're running towards chasing a cat into the road, and they get to the end of the leash and they get that stops them. That's a physical.
Right, and if you're pulling them away from something, that's a physical correction. I mean, I routinely do that in my videos with leash walking videos. I'm pulling a dog away from something. However, if I'm really doing my job good, I prevent that from happening in the first place.
Yes.
But, it's impossible to be perfect, but we strive towards it.
And it's good. And I think one of the things that something we can talk about in the future too, but there's these two poles in dog training right now that it's either be all positive or all punishment, but the fact is that, and you go really well in your book, and I'm a little afraid to go too deep into this because it can go very far, but we can definitely talk about this a lot too. But it's just it's really about being a good pet parent to your dog. If my mom saw me about to put my hand on the stove, she would tell me no. If it was hot, especially if it was hot stove, and that's just protecting me and looking out for your dog in their best interest and looking out for them and setting them up for success. And I like how in the book he said as well that it's like when you communicate to a dog, know that they are like a 3-year-old child, and that if what you're about to instill onto your dog, would you do that to a 3-year-old child? And that's where the kind
you did read, yes, that's true.
I'm sorry, but yeah, it's just maybe we'll grab a copy of his book so you all can see, because I'm not sure if you guys know about his new book, but because I keep mentioning it in this series, I think so.
Dog Training Revolution.
He's not going to plug himself, but I will. But Dog Training Revolution, great book. I think it's really good. It's a good A to Z guide to help you guys really understand how from start to finish, or at least from start and building a good relationship with your dog. Anywhere from about what we're talking about, corrections to medical stuff, from like fleas and ticks to when you
it's a complete guide.
Dog, it's a complete guide that's really well condensed. I know you said to me right before we got on here that it could have been twice as long, but yes. You kind of condensed it more. But it's really well done. So Brian, you got this at the top, so I'm guessing we're gonna grab this question right now. I'm getting a red bone hound next week. Speaking about hounds, I have heard from other owners that an e-collar is the only way to get a well-trained hound. Do you think I can get away without it?
Absolutely.
And look at this guy right here. He's not a red Bancoot hound, but he is a hound, and this guy has not ever had an e-collar on him. And he's a fantastic dog, and he has lots of fun.
Yeah, I know. For those of you that don't, well, I guess most people in this group would know, but e-collar is an electric collar, not to be confused with the Elizabethan collar.
Elizabethan collar, yeah.
You get when your dog gets neutered or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, electronic collars to me are the single worst thing wrong with dog training today. They are, I just think they're absolutely horrible because they rely specifically on teaching your dog with pain and to avoid pain. And that's no way to connect. That's no way to have any type of relationship at all. And there were hunting dogs. Last time I checked, there were hunting dogs long before electronic collars were invented. Yeah. And they did just fine. If your dog is not reliable off leash, it doesn't mean that you need an e-collar. It means you need a 20-foot lead, and you need to put some time into training them and working with them.
That's what it comes down to. Yeah. And everybody just realize that there is a time factor with building a good relationship with your dog. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard. I've seen a lot of punishment trainers, work with an e-collar and how they're supposed to do it, but I really have a hard time seeing what I see from a person that mainly studies punishment training like that, or using compulsive methods. I've rarely seen a person that isn't well studied in it use the e-collar the same way. I think, and without, and I, just to kind of be just real fact here is that I really want to make sure that you guys know it's not an easy device for your dog, and I think a lot of people overuse it for sure, and overuses. I think for all the punishment trainers that might be watching this, or compulsion trainers here, I think a lot of people don't do it the same way you guys do it, and I think I still wouldn't do it that way I do it, and just to kind of, but just kind of moving on because I'm really out, just getting on a rabbit trail here, but Clyde, man.
But
I think you got it from my bag there. So.
Your point is understood, though. Yeah, it's just a very primitive, shallow way to interact with a dog.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna see if there's any comments here. Say, what is the most exotic animal that you've ever trained? You personally?
I'm a dog person.
You're just dog person.
I work with dogs. I mean, okay, I worked with a pig not too long ago. I didn't post the video because it didn't go so well, Trevor. Because I thought, pig, it's a mammal.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes. Now, they're different.
And Brian replied back, thanks, that's the answer I was hoping for.
Oh, great.
So that you don't need, the e-collar.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So that, and then, we're going to keep popping back and forth and making sure that we see your comments and stuff like that. But it's so fun training from the inside out and watching them think and be excited about training. I agree, Sarah. Great comment on there. And then Autumn said that makes sense. Okay, back to some of the questions. We'll probably answer these questions and then said that. We didn't say that, but how do you become a professional dog trainer? Oh, that's a good question. So,
there's a million ways to become a professional dog trainer.
Yes.
I mean, you could just wake up and call yourself a professional dog trainer. Yeah. I mean, that's one way to go about it. No regulations.
It's so true, and people do. And being from Austin, Texas, it's a very big dog-friendly city. I know that there's dog trainers about every block for sure that live somewhere, and I think the definition of dog trainer or professional dog trainer is very loose because like Zach, I'm a certified dog trainer and I went through a certification process, but I started training dogs since I was 6 years old, so there's a lot of experience behind that, and I think that is where the key is there, is experience. So, if you guys really want to get good experience at becoming a dog trainer, go volunteer at shelters and get your hands on to some rescue dogs, do some good in your community, and go through that process. Both, whether it be non-kill or kill shelters and things like that. I think one of the hard things about kill shelters, if you've ever volunteered there, is seeing those dogs that you have to say goodbye to, and realizing that there's a lot of things that need to happen in this world to, as professionals, as dog trainers. And really just getting together and teaming up. So I'm excited to be here with Zach and us teaming up because I think as dog trainers, as people, we need to kind of band together. And that's what's great about this group. That's kind of the whole thing about this group is helping as many people as possible with their dogs. We're all learning. We're all going to learn. Every day, every week, every month, there's something new coming out in dog training that's very interesting and new science coming out, especially now. There's so much science coming out. But so what I would do for you is tell you guys first go volunteer at a shelter. When you're not at a shelter, I would say, from my experience, I had the wonderful experience of apprenticing with my mom since I was 6 years old. So, but I think an apprenticeship is actually really good to get your hands and see how whole dog training business works. I think a lot of these schools that you go to and you get some experience or you get some head knowledge, it doesn't actually necessarily prepare you for the business side of dog training. So I think that's important to become a good business and say some small business practices and understanding how that works too, because you can be a really great dog trainer, but if people don't know where to look for you, it's going to be really hard to help people out. So make sure to do that as well. Any other?
Yeah, no, I think you pretty much covered it. I mean, there are a million paths to become a professional dog trainer. I started out doing competitive frisbee with dogs and teaching them lots of crazy stunts and tricks and all that good stuff, and I found so much joy in that. And since that activity requires so much on playing with your dog, then, I felt like I got a super amount of experience in a short period of time because when dogs are motivated to play, they seem to be easier to train, basically. But yeah, I mean, I love what you said about the shelters. I think that's really key. Working with shelter dogs is a fantastic way to get experience. I routinely still work with shelter dogs because I love the challenge of working with a dog that doesn't have great manners necessarily. Yeah. So, yeah.
And, rescue group shelters, whatever you got on your hands on deck, just if you see a neighbor struggling with their dog or something like that, I don't know. But the next question here, Caitlin asked, we kind of already touched base on, I think, a little bit. And I think for me, semantics are interesting when it comes to seniors, but it's I wouldn't say
did you read the question?
So does Zach promote balanced dog training, and what are his thoughts on this philosophy? And so, did you want to?
Yeah. I mean, balanced dog training for me is code language for punishment dog trainers. Balanced dog trainers are typically trainers that rely on using superficial tools like choke prong and electric collars and try to call that training. But my thing is, if you have to rely on those types of special tools, either you're unwilling to accept modern science or you just haven't learned yet. Anyone who has to rely on those types of tools is not a true dog trainer in my opinion, and I've been very upfront about that. But so if that's what you mean by balanced trainers, then yeah, I do not endorse balanced dog trainers.
And it comes down to I think that terminology balance. That's what I mean. So I think it's very semantic. Like, for some people they would say that us saying no to your dog is a balanced method too.
Right. Yes. It all depends on what you mean by it.
And jerk your dog away from the street, like we talked about. That's very balanced. It's like that. But I think you guys gotta, it's really important and it's really good. I know some of you guys have trained dogs with shock collars. I know some of you guys are, supporters of shock collars and balance training. But it's really important to first look at the dog, understand them, before you force what you want on them. I think it's a two-way street. It really is. It's not just about what you want out of your dog, but it's also what your dog wants out of you. There's needs in going both directions. That look at what your dog's needs are and how you can help your dog in those needs. Because I keep saying your book and referencing your book, but it's really good. So it's really well good guide. But you talk about that. A lot of behavioral problems is a lack of fulfilling the need of exercise, and it's a lot of boredom. So before you make your dog do something with a device or outside in, figure out from the inside out what your dog needs on the. Like Clyde's a good example right now. What your dog needs from the inside, and what their wants and needs are. Like Clyde, he was returned to the shelter 6 times before I got him, and so because people didn't understand, 6 times. 3 of those he escaped and jumped off the fence. He thought his house was too boring and he ran away. And then on the 3rd time, whoever had him said that keep him, and then they didn't want him. And I think Clyde's a great dog. So
you've done great with him.
And so for him and me, just understanding him, it's really important. He's an amazing dog. He's super smart, and I think that's a part of it. Like if I don't exercise the mental as much as well as the physical, he gets bored as well. So I think that's another side of dog training that needs to be understood, is that it's not all physical. There's a little mental element to that, and I think
absolutely.
I think like for me, like I call it a training trinity. And basically, it's you got your physical health with like your vet and taking care of your dog and giving good food. You got your social health with bonding with your dog and understanding that relationship with your dog. And you got your mental health, like teaching him tricks, doing agility or going on hikes with your dogs, whatever that is. And so that's the
Agreed. Yeah, that's well said.
That's the 3 that I do. So Christina, how can you train your dog to not be so scared of thunderstorms?
That's a tough one. It is a tough one. Are any of your dogs scared of thunderstorms?
Actually, no. None of them are scared of thunderstorms.
Oh, you got lucky then, yeah.
But I know there's a reason to that. So
yeah, with a lot of counter conditioning?
A lot of counter conditioning. I think one of the biggest things actually with thunderphobic training, I think there are some dogs that do have a history of thunderphobia, and border collies typically are a little bit more sound sensitive, I find too. But I think it's actually just setting up this environment and making it nice and calm for them, but don't freak them out. I see a lot of dog owners are just like, thunderstorms coming. Oh my goodness, let me go ahead and put you in your room and give you, and this they over exaggerate the storm that's coming, and the dog doesn't even know that the dog may know the storm is coming, but then they see that you're worried. So if you're stressing for your dog's not knowing that you're doing that. They think you're just stressing up the storm too. So there's a little security issue there that they look at you for security and strength, and if you are getting scared, if you're scared, they're going to be scared. So make sure that you're calm, that you're relaxed, and I think that also helps too. Is that when you have other dogs that aren't so scared in the house, I think sometimes it helps for the other dogs to look at the dogs that are all sleeping, dead on the bed, sleeping on the bed, and they're like, oh, everyone's cool. So just relax, calm, be good. You can always play some music. There's a great CD track called Through a Dog's Ear. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. A scientist got with a musician, and they actually rewrote classical music to the tones and sounds that the scientists studied what sounds may have dogs be more relaxed. And so they rewrote classical music to have the sound be more relaxed. So you can actually play some music and some other things. And what I'd actually do, what's great about YouTube, is actually I suggest to all my students is just look up some thunderstorm noise on YouTube, and because you can control it, you can pause it, you can stop it, you can keep the volume loud or soft, and start giving them a Kong, some chew toys, and start, like you said, counter conditioning it. So.
Right. Yeah, and because my dog Venus was terrified of thunderstorms, and it got better over the years. But you know, she always had a fear her whole life of thunderstorms.
Yeah.
And so for her, because she was kind of high up on the spectrum. You know, it's a spectrum. Some dogs will hear it and get over it, and then other dogs are just more freaked out. But my protocol in general when dealing with thunderstorm fears with her was, if I knew storms were coming, because we live here in the South, and tons of thunderstorms in New Orleans, was to exercise her before the thunderstorms came. Exercise reduces, it seems as though exercise reduces almost all forms of anxiety. And then, as the storm approaches, you see that lightning, the thunder hasn't hit yet, and that's the time to be, really rapid firing those tiny bits of really good trees. So it's a really good exercise in timing too, because you can allow the lightning flash to be your cue that the thunder is coming.
Yeah, exactly. So so this counter conditioning, good exercise for your dog. That's all great tips. And stuff like that.
Rachel, what is that expression? Rachel behind the camera is like, you got to be kidding me. What? Oh no, okay, maybe it's best.
That was another comment.
We've already got questions for you guys.
Okay, let's look at the questions again.
So
how many people do we have now? Oh, we got 45.
And you guys are taking it. Yeah, it's great. This is fun, guys. Thanks for joining us again. And Autumn, and everybody, just thanks for being on here. What we're going to do is we're going to answer a few more questions. We have about 3 more questions here, and we'll answer them for you guys.
The party's just getting started. 3 more questions. You can't keep these people waiting, Trevor.
Okay, good. Well, we'll do. I know. So Zach's still game here and stuff like that. So we'll keep going for a little while. I'm game for your game. If everybody, make sure right here in the comments right now, give us some thumbs up and hearts and some yeses if you want us to keep going. So just go ahead and do that, and we'll keep the questions coming. So
are we here or are we there?
Here.
You're at the top.
Back
there
top, we go.
right at the top. So what's the most interesting case you've had in one of your videos? So probably I'm guessing with one.
Fluffy.
Wait, what did she? Yeah, I was thinking Lafitte's the one that came to my mind. The dog who attacked trees was the most interesting. Yeah, and I talk about it in the book also, but you can go watch the video after we're done with the show here. But yeah, this dog would just go crazy and attack trees, and leash pulling was an understatement with him. So he's a wonderful dog though, and I believe he's improved too. He's doing really well. So yeah, Lafitte's great.
Lafitte's attacking trees.
Attacking trees. I mean
he
full
took
on
chunks out of the tree.
Like, yeah. So was he like mad at the trees or just wanted to play?
No, I mean my best guess.
Crazy,
my best guess with him is that he had correlated squirrels and trees.
And then he was attacking the tree out of
Yeah, and he was a little under exercised because his mom is a big shot and she's a very busy woman, and she does her best with him.
Yeah.
But sometimes when she's unable to exercise, he's got to get that energy out, and but he's done really well. But that would be the most odd, peculiar video I think I've done.
What's the title of the video if they want to go watch?
I think it's something like Extreme Leash Pulling, or if you put Zak Extreme Leash Pulling on YouTube, I'm sure it'll pull it up.
Yeah.
And we're still friends with his dog sitter.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Yes.
What is your number one tip for raising a well-adjusted puppy? We kind of cover a little bit of this, but
socialization's a big deal. If you've got a really young dog, 0 to 8 months tends to be a really important time for them. Exercising them, giving them lots of experience, having lots of fun with them, and like you said, prioritizing the relationship with them is really important.
Yeah.
So, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Feeding them well.
Yeah, feed them well. Just going through that whole process, and like your basic needs, making sure that you've given good food, water, shelter, security, safety. That you're, like you said, socializing them, making sure that they get to know lots of people, lots of dogs, lots of vacuums, umbrellas, whatever, and then going from there, just finding out and observing. I think one of the best things to do when you get your puppy, you go through the name process. You kind of watch them a little bit, and you're trying to pick out a good name for them, but really observe your dog and make sure that you can see, okay, they like this. Like I know you should do this in your most recent video on YouTube, and I thought it was a really cool little trick that you have with the feathers.
Oh yes.
And so that's just like one good example of observing your dog. Like you're trying to get your dog. Which one was it? Which border collie was it?
Supernova.
Supernova to play with toys, and when he saw that you got a feather duster was he was interested in. So you put the feather duster onto the frisbee, and the rest is history.
Right. You don't always get to choose what your dog likes, so
Yeah.
you have to. It's a two-way street. I mean, that's why we call it a relationship, because you really have to understand them, and it's give and take, and you have to kind of be willing to bend when it comes to those things.
So observe your dog, make sure they're well socialized and having some fun. So that is all good. So so next one is, do you have a dog, Zach? And yes.
Isn't that amazing? That I know, because here's
is that the big question? Gosh.
Huh?
This is why she's laughing.
I actually don't know why she's laughing, but it's amazing, because I used to make videos with my dogs all the time. Yes, we have 3 dogs. We have Alpha Centauri, Supernova, and Indiana Jones. That's Alpha Centauri. My dog Venus, who I started with, recently passed on a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it still feels weird to say 3 dogs instead of 4.
Yeah.
You also have a cat?
Yes, we have a cat named Angela, but she doesn't count. No, I'm just kidding. Angela's an awesome
She's a
cat. She's cool. Yeah, she's actually going to be making an appearance in an upcoming video.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
I'm excited to see
We're
that.
doing a cat training video.
That's
this is
gonna be so
exclusive.
good. That is exclusive, because I think in your one of the questions that you had from the comments before was about cat training. So that's a good one to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing is our dog won't stop barking when we leave from Autumn from when we leave the home. Is there something I can do to teach her to be quiet and relax while we're gone?
Yeah, I mean, barking when you're gone is a real tough issue, because I do have some advice, but I will say it's not realistic to expect to be able to teach your dog when you're not present.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. You need to be there to teach your dog how to behave. So really take advantage of those opportunities when your dog does bark while you're at home. But significant exercise before you leave the house is going to give you, in all likelihood, a lot of bang for your buck. And then when you do leave them, try and put them in an area of the house where they're not as tempted to bark, away from a window, something like that. But that can be a tough issue. Exercise is by far the path of least resistance to get, in my experience. Anyway, we're playing with lights right now.
Golly, turn off the lights. But it's okay. We're not ending yet. We're gonna keep going. See, there we go. So, but we got 38 live viewers, still good. So we're going good.
Nice.
And thank you guys for your comments around that. Said the tree video is hilarious. So you've seen that, Diana. That Avery says that we're loving this, and then Autumn was like, love this, you guys are awesome. And then Trisha's like, great conversation. So, and then Autumn says she's sorry about Phoenix. So,
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yes.
she's a special girl.
Sorry.
you can answer that question about Jacob real quickly again. And then,
Oh, yeah.
Yes, all right. So Jacob is a rescue dog from the Jefferson Parish Animal Shelter that Brianna, my girlfriend's dad, adopted. And he's done really well. I have a whole playlist on my YouTube channel where we, from the very first day that I met him, literally the first day before he was even adopted, and that's actually the Leave It, Look at Me combo video that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got him from the shelter.
Yeah, we just took out poor your dad. I feel bad for him now in a way, because my goal that day was, let me just get a wild dog, a really wild dog straight out of the shelter, and let's teach him the Leave It, Look at Me combo to show that we can get, a raw shelter dog under control. And we did, of course, because it's nothing to it. And so anyway, yeah, he's an awesome dog. I really love him. We have a whole playlist. I encourage you to check it out on my YouTube channel. If you're not already, subscribe to my channel too.
Yeah, and those that maybe just like all of a sudden just put this video and part 2.
Right.
We're doing some questions with Zak George. If you're not familiar with him, he is the creator and producer, and I don't know what else you want to call yourself.
I make dog training YouTube videos.
Dog training
It's just
videos.
really all that. We can try and make it fancy all we want, but that's really all I do.
Yeah, you make dog training YouTube videos. So, you want to check out our channel. I'm Trevor Smith with Doggie Dojo. Thanks for joining us back. We had some difficulties with Facebook Live. Happens when you're going live all the time. But thanks you guys for joining us back here. I see that we got some people back to watch us live. We'll wrap up with a few more questions here, and then that will be it. The next question I have is, Matt says, I'm a massive fan, and I quote you all the time. We make videos with Malamute and how to control the situation if your puppy suddenly becomes out of character and aggressive outbursts on a walk.
So it sounds like, Matt, you're talking about leash reactivity, which is a real common thing. The 2 mistakes that people make when working with a dog who, I will consider doing videos with Malamute, of course. I'm committed to doing videos with all sorts of dogs. But the 2 mistakes that 2 major mistakes is not exercising your dog before a walk, not bringing their currency on a walk with you. In other words, just hoping for the best when you go on a walk. And not preparing your dog for a walk. So you don't wait until it's time to go on a walk to then also teach your dog how to behave. Set up those training instances.
Yeah.
Work on the outside of a perimeter of a dog park if you have to.
Yeah.
Where you can really get away from the dogs and reinforce and then get them desensitized to being around dogs over time. But exercise, again, will get you there a lot faster probably. But it's a combination of things and desensitizing them. I mean, that's a big deal.
It is a very complicated behavior,
Sure.
and one of the biggest things about that is time, and we talked about that in our part 1. If you guys didn't catch up, this is part 2 of our live stream right now. But when it comes to training your dog in general, it just takes time, and that's where I think a lot of people make a mistake, is that they don't take the time, and they also, when it comes to those behaviors particularly, think about the time. It could take months.
Yes.
It could take maybe even a year even to really see what you really want. Like, I know when we go to this, we're like, we want our dogs to walk perfectly down the street. The dog could be 3 feet away and the dog doesn't react one bit. That's going to take us some time, and especially depending on how severe that leash reactivity is, it could take longer sometimes. So know that, like, say, and I always like to tell this to my students with any behavior, but look at the results in a progression. And so if your dog is walking down the street and sees a dog turn a corner 50 feet away and goes crazy, and then you start working with them and using your nice reward-based approaches, and you're really taking the time and doing what Zach was talking about, and then the next time your dog sees some dog, they don't start to react until they're 25 feet away, realize that your dog is getting better. They still reacted, but they are getting better, and you just have to make sure to stay outside of 25 feet. And just kind of realize that it's not going to be black and white. It's not going to be night and day.
Right.
And it's going to take time and everything like that. I think this answer didn't get recorded. It didn't get recorded. So Zach, have you ever trained more aggressive dog and managed to progress successfully in calming the dog
That was
down?
recorded? That was.
I think not, because
So they
we
cut
asked
off.
it was when it glitched out.
Oh.
So if you want to re-answer it.
Oh yeah, okay, so Matt asks, have I ever trained an aggressive dog and managed to progress successfully in calming down the personality? So if you mean by aggressive a dog that appears to attack people or dogs or other animals, yes, of course I've worked with dogs of that variety, and yeah, we have had success with that. But again, the thing about aggression is it's so case by case, because you have to understand the context of the outburst. You have to understand the dog's genetics, and you have to understand their background, and just in general, you have to understand a lot of things about that dog to be able to make headway on aggression issues. But, the biggest thing with aggression is not to be in a hurry and to really manage your dog and prevent outbursts from occurring as you work through those issues. Because they can take a significant amount of time sometimes. Again, exercise very often will prevent aggressive outbursts as well.
Yeah. And then what's up?
He kind of asked if you were like at a park, but your suggestion would be to before you go to the park.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, but if you do, but look, if you have a dog who's had an instance of biting a person, a dog, or another animal, you have a special responsibility not to put that dog in a position in a public park, for example, to be able to attack another animal. So you do have that special responsibility, and you have to go the extra mile making sure you manage your dog's environment. Or, using things like basket muzzles, which are, in my strong opinion, very humane.
Yeah. It's not hurting the dog. But,
Right. Oh, no, it's just a safety net.
Yeah.
Right.
And, the basket muzzles to a certain extent, and from on that days, just because your dog gets a basket muzzle doesn't mean if your dog's aggressive with other dogs to stick them in a small room with another dog.
Oh, absolutely.
And just let your dog cope. Like, that's called flooding, and we don't do that.
Right.
That is mentally painful, and to the dog. So that's just one of those things where, you have to, it just takes time. And I would say with aggression, everybody that's watching this, as someone who's a dog trainer who works in a lot of aggression, Sue Sternberg, she's fantastic. She actually goes to dog parks and studies them for a living. It's kind of a nice job. But is with aggressive behavior, a lot of time it's never fixed, it's more managed. And so your dog will never, ever be able, more than likely, to never be able to be left alone with another dog who has aggression tendencies to other dog. Even if you go through all the training in the world and your dog is, when you're in the room with your dog, they're playing and play bowing and having fun, you're not going to always be able to pinch. Your dog won't revert back to that previous behavior.
That's right, yeah.
So you have to really realize that it just takes time. this is your dog. You brought it into your life, and you just kind of have to work with that. You know, if someone had, you know, and they're family members, and I think that's one of the biggest things about dogs. They're family members, and they're part of our family. So whatever behavior it is, whether it's jumping up on people or their aggressive behavior, just realize that this is a lifelong companion, and it'll take time to get the behavior and results that you want. So,
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. It's true. Yeah.
and then Lindsay, this will be our last question here, and then that is: have you created a video on starter agility and what the building blocks with puppies?
I have not, but you know that's great timing.
Yeah.
that's one of the videos we're going to be making tomorrow with Trevor. Is a starter agility of sorts
Video.
So
So Lindsay, thanks for a great question. That's why Daisy, the border collie, is here. She's going to show off some agility skills and kind of show you guys the basics. And we're actually going to cover a few of the most common obstacles that you see in agility. And so I hope you enjoy. And some of the obstacles that you can actually get and put in your backyard is what we're going to start with. You know, there's contact equipment that you can get as well, but we're going to show you guys the basics with some of the stuff that you can even just put in your own backyard. So that's going to be really fun.
Oh,
so
I'm excited about it.
I'm excited. So, you know, we did come together for this live stream, which was awesome. And I appreciate you being on here. And I know a lot of people did too. People were excited that we're back. So, like, Avery's like, yay, you're back. So, and then 28 people are still here. Yeah, go that.
Deb just asked a question.
Yeah. Can you recommend exercise to build self-confidence in dogs, especially when they get excited and start pacing? I don't want to cue I don't want to cue the calm behavior if possible. Interesting. So basically, you're saying is an exercise to build self-confidence in dogs. I'm trying to figure out what that question is.
I don't really understand. I don't understand the question very well.
I'm going to try my best, Deb, and then feel free to clarify if they. But what I'm guessing you're saying is when your dog is anxious, how to get them to self-calm down and build some confidence within themselves, how to calm themselves down, and so that way you don't have to tell them to be calm. I would actually just start with actually telling them to be calm. And honestly, like actually trying to be.
They understand what it means.
Exactly. So like you talk about this in your book, you know, talking about you may start off with, you know, eating an apple while sitting on the couch and rewarding, marking rewarding a dog in a bed, you know, and saying settle. Because then you can actually start actually teaching them when they're supposed to settle. So just like with thunderphobia and stuff like that we were talking about earlier.
I have a great video with Jacob the rescue dog on stop begging and settle down, but it will address that as well. Yeah. Because the thing about begging is, you know, you don't typically want to reward with food because that's kind of a paradox. But anyway, that's not what you're asking. But of course, exercise again early in the day is very likely to encourage calmness. Although this may be more of an anxiety situation too, which might be a little bit, again, exercise there also helps.
Yeah,
exercise is a magical thing.
Yeah, exercise. Yeah, just getting your dog exercise. I like that too. Like for stay work and settle down work, getting a dog really good exercise before you start that stuff will yield really great results. And you'll be able to catch those behaviors that you want. So if you want your dog to learn how to settle more without you having to say settle, go and exercise your dog, whether it be agility, playing fetch, or whatever. Just getting your dog some really good working out their brain mentally and their body physically will actually help them want to settle down. And I think don't always go one-sided. Look at the physical and the mental. We talked about that earlier. That some dogs I have no clients that say I walk my dog 4 miles a day and he's still crazy. And part of that is because they have a very smart brain. They need some moment stimulation. So.
Well, that and, 4 miles to a person is a lot, but maybe not to a dog.
Exactly.
I mean, we have 2 legs. We're slow by mammal standards.
It's true. And like Daisy, who's a border collie, the breed... 30 miles in a day. I mean, they'll do 30 miles a day. Yeah, like a conditioned border collie, apparently like one that herds sheep can do up to 70 miles a day.
There you go.
So
yeah, it's not surprising.
And so it's just one of those things where you're going to think about 70 miles versus 4 miles. I mean... Right. Yeah, to some dogs, 4 miles would be a lot, but I think a dog's physical body conditions a lot quicker than their mental brain. I think mental stimulation has actually been proven by science that it's actually more tiring than physical sometimes, and so it's just something you need to work towards. But yeah, thanks Matt for saying that. So thank you very much. I found your response very helpful. Keep up the good work, guys. You are the right. You're the right people to represent positive training across the world. That's good to hear. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate you so much. And thanks, guys, for joining. I know you guys had a fun time watching us here live. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave comments down below. Avery, if you could for us, I'd greatly appreciate it. You guys where can people find you on YouTube?
YouTube.com/Zak George, or just Google dog training on YouTube.
Yeah, Google Dog Training YouTube, and then Avery, if you can put that in the link description below, that'd be great. And then also I'm gonna tag, and I did it in part 1. I'll do it in this part 2 here. I'm gonna tag Zak George's Facebook page and my Facebook page up in the description, so you can check us out on Facebook as well.
Thank you.
And then you can check me out on Facebook.com/Doggie Dojo, or you can also do YouTube.com/The Doggie Dojo. Thanks, Zak, for joining us today. We rocked it out. We answered a lot of questions.
A lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and maybe we'll see Zak more here on Facebook Live. We'll see.